Good evening, everybody. I am Muftau Nabila Abdullahi, and this is The Feed on Kwese TV. Tonight, we're talking about the banking crisis, or should I say the financial crisis that have engulfed the financial sector since August 2018. Within a year, about 30 financial institutions, that's a combined of 7 banks and 23 savings and loans companies, have been all. For the first 7 banks, they were all consolidated into the Consolidated Bank, and the financial institutions, 23 of them, which were last week taken over by the Bank of Ghana due to their inability to meet certain requirements within the financial sector. Bank of Ghana said these institutions were at a point where they were so insolvent, and they've decided that they were going to hand these banks to a receiver, and that receiver is Eric Nipa Nana, and this he has said that the Bank of Ghana is they are doing all these things because they feel that these banks are not complying with the requirements in the banking sector. Today in the studio to do the discussion with me is Wisdom Dodoi, who is a banker and a philanthropist, and our usual face, Saka Salia. He's an MPP communication team member. Good evening. A pleasure to have the two of you here.
Good evening. Good evening, Mr.
Always great having you.
Thank you.
First, Wisdom, let me come to you and find out what probably is going through the financial sector in our country.
For the system that we are, every time there have to be rules that can guide us how the banking system is being worked. Yes. So BOG is the expert. They have the knowledge, and they feel like it's the time to straighten out some things in the system. Okay. So they came out with a rule of making sure that all financial institutions go with some rules that is laid down, and those that cannot move with the rule, they consult them, either to let them go down or to emerge them. Okay. And these are the things that we are seeing right now in the system, and this is the impact we are feeling.
What probably could cause that?
A lot of them, some of them may be out of management control. Some of them may be issues that are behind the scene that we don't know. So I blame management for their inefficiency that is causing all this thing.
Saka, you've heard Wisdom talk about poor management leading us to a point where we have these financial crises. But let me find out from you, Saka. There are people who say the MPP is killing banks in the country. Why are you people bent on killing banks and letting people lose their jobs in the country?
Yeah, thank you very much. Good evening to our cherished viewers. First of all, I don't think that assertion is the truth. You know, in every country, and especially countries that are serious in ensuring sanity within the banking system, there come a time that you have to sanitize the system. Because look, if you want to create a formal economy, we need to have the informal sector, sector, to fuse into the formal sector in order that you can grow your economy. Right now, if you look at Ghana right now, about 15%, only 15%, bank. The rest do not bank, and therefore the economy is not formalized. And therefore, if you want to have the formalization of the economy, you need to boost the confidence for people to now have the confidence within the banking sector and to invest their money or to deposit their money. It's not for nothing that in 2016, we had the Specialized Deposit Act at 930.
Yes.
The act was to ensure that we sanitize some of these things. The savings and loans or banks that do not follow down good governance rules are brought to book or are made to, do what is necessary.
What is necessary.
And especially in the banking sector, we have so many rules. We have we have to ensure that even the minimum capital that is required by every bank is met, because we need buoyant banks. We have to ensure that the capital adequacy ratio is adhered to. But what is happening is that you see a bank that have negative, and even sometimes, if there was something even more than negative, you will see it. So these banks that we are talking about do not even exist in the first place. They are not banks. And it will interest you to know that even those savings and loans that were recently
had their licenses revoked.
Yes, a lot of them had closed down even before their licenses were revoked. A lot of them. Some of them closed their headquarters. They even sacked their top management.
Which of them? Because per what the Bank of Ghana gave out, they only indicated that they have been engaging these institutions for the past 1 year and requesting that they meet certain demands, and they've not been able to meet them. So which of these?
See, I cannot go into, because what I'm seeing now is from the release that Bank of Ghana brought.
Okay.
So I hope you also read it.
Yeah,
if you had read it,
I have the copy here.
If you had read it, you understand what I'm talking about. Bank of Ghana actually indicated that they met with some of them. You see, those that have been closed down, those that licenses have been revoked, are the irredeemable ones. They are the ones that even after recapitalization, they themselves do not even have a clue as to how to, recapitalize themselves. They've given them time and again, and they are unable to do so. Indeed, some of them do not even have board of governance. They do not even have. So they are doing any and everything just to survive and all that. And if you have a banking sector that do not lay down rules, we will come to a time that the sector will look like what happened during the period of the DKM, where there was the regulator was not doing his work. And this is a country that we ourselves every day, every now and then, we talk about the fact that we have all the laws, but we do not implement it. And now the regulator decides that for this time around, we are no longer going to sit aloof and allow banks to defraud or to shortchange depositors. The paramount thing that we want to engage now is to protect depositors. Okay. And therefore, any bank that exhibits non-compliance to rules, and even after giving them chance and opportunity to recapitalize and to lay down rules, and you still do not even have the wherewithal to follow suit, such banks do not,
they are not supposed to exist.
They are not supposed to exist at all, and therefore have to give way.
Okay. Wisdom. What are some of the key things you people often do in your offices, and that has led some of these banks into this mess we find ourselves in, putting customers in fear of not even wanting to go and put their monies in banks any longer?
It's about how management bring out their policy and how to communicate it out. I believe when they brought these banks together, a lot of perception that is outside there. Yeah. BOG is working hard to make sure that customers and consumers have a lot of good perception. That perception is not well cleared yet before this one came up. So I believe it's a good policy, but my issue is how it's implemented. Okay. That's my challenge.
How should you have done it?
When they brought these banks together, it's not quite long. There are a lot of perception in the industry. People don't have interest in the banking system anymore. But it's not up to 2 years, and this one also came. That means that a lot of confusion will be in. I believe they should have some timeline. They should look at the situation in the country.
But shouldn't this be the point where we rather grow more confident that we have an institution willing to clear the sector to save me, the customer, instead of allowing the person who is taking my money to rather go and take it and go and invest on something somewhere, to the extent that the person cannot even be liquidated?
You see, it's good you do that, but you look at it, it's not just about you implementing your policy. Look at around the policy, what is the economy, what are people going through, what's the rate of unemployment in the system, so that you make sure that you don't create a lot of panic in the system. It's good to implement, that's a good policy, but how is it implemented? What is happening in the economy now? What is the perception around the banking system? Is the perception well cleared? Is customers have confidence in it before we implement this one again? You have to look at all this. Unemployment rate, is it high or low? Then you bring him, as of now, I'm sure over 1,000 people going home.
Yes.
It's going to add to government again.
Yes.
You see, though this should be a political issue, but people are not instead to politics now because of government interference.
But Wisdom, let me just find out from this from you. Are you saying that the Bank of Ghana should have at least given like a window of 1 year or 2 years or 3 before they take the decision to revoke the licenses of these institutions? And isn't that supposed to mean that as someone who is putting his money into these banks, the person is just putting his money in blindly, and within the next 2 years, Bank of Ghana strikes again? What about if they clear out within a year, then you know that you have a clear system, so when you're putting your money in, you're very confident that you're putting your money in an institution that is worth it?
See, it's good they take this decision, but the time is not good enough. The time for the implementation of the system...
What time is good?
You see, there are a lot of unemployment in the system, and government is working hard to make sure that all these people get some employment doing. Look at the panic in the system. There are a lot of too many panic that this thing just came in. Yeah. So it make, no matter how government works, people are not seeing it. From my colleague here, no matter how government is working hard, people are not seeing it because of these issues. You see, government is doing everything to make sure that they find employment, but the least employment that comes, the one that goes down is a lot.
Saka, do you think that, per what he was saying, he's saying, do you think that government should look at the point where there's so much unemployment and allow the wrong things to be going on?
First of all, I think that it's a non-starter to use unemployment as a reason or to blackmail government into not doing its or Bank of Ghana into not doing its duties. You remember the DKM, God is love, and all those, those things. If government had stepped in and do the right thing, as at then, I don't think that the thousands and thousands of depositors would have had problems. If you are, I mean, look at the opportunity cost of not doing the right thing.
Yeah.
If you say that, okay, because I don't want somebody to lose his job, his or her job, let me allow the wrong thing to fester to the point where depositors, who are by far more than the workers, people were talking about, oh, some people are going home, they're going to commit suicide and all that. Have they forgotten that even the depositors, if depositors' monies go, you know,
the
waste,
depositor money that is used to pay you,
they too can commit suicide and all that. So government has to have a delicate balance between the two. And in this case, it's not as if all the savings and loans institutions have been closed down.
Yeah.
Like I said from the very beginning, it is the irredeemable ones, those that even when you recapitalize, they are not in a position to revive. Okay. They are not working using good governance practices. They are doing whatever they do just for the selfish interests of individuals. And indeed, if you look at some of the rules, they are not supposed to give more than a certain number. Yes. We call it the obligo limit. Yes. They give loans to one particular institution, therefore overexposing the institution to non loan repayments, and therefore crippling those institutions. Sometimes they misreport. For instance, I mean, there was one of the banks that instead of posting loss, they lied to Bank of Ghana that they are buoyant, they are making profit and all that.
See? Well, no, we are going for a break, and when we come back, we'll talk more on this.
When
just wrap up.
When you have people like that lying, even with their books,
documents,
with even the books, their documents, the audited accounts, lying over the audited accounts, and even management, they don't even have management that requires certain standards.
I don't want to mention them, but when I read the report, I realized that one of these institutions actually was nearly non-existent because they don't even have money.
All these institutions, I'm telling you, if they had, if any of them had a modicum of potential of being revived, Bank of Ghana would have revived such institutions.
We go for a break. When we come back, we'll still be talking more. But there's one critical question I will be asking. Everyone is talking about people losing their jobs. What about the people who have led these people to lose their jobs because Bank of Ghana have taken decision? What becomes of them? What happens to those people? Would the laws work to bring these people to book? 7 banks consolidated to Bank of Ghana. We are yet to actually get someone accept responsibility for this. We'll be back from the break and talk more.